I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods.
Hey, okay, I don't know what went wrong with I made this video. I'm re-recording it now. I made it earlier today, and for whatever reason, it just was just something was wrong with it. So it won't. I can't convert the file. Like it just something's really I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna just I thought rather than mess with it, I'll reshoot this video. I left out a few things anyways in the first one. So I'm talking, and this is about canceled television shows. Now, just some background here. My family, my wife and I, we haven't had cable for many, many, many years. Well, except for a couple of just brief little interludes. For the better part of a decade, we've had no cable. Here in Alaska, we don't even get you can't even get network stations without cable. Or at least in Southeast Alaska, there's no. You need basic cable just to get the network. In fact, basic cable is pretty much just network stations. And so we missed out on a lot of. Well, I guess we luckily missed a bunch of crap, but we also missed a lot of really great television that was out there, great series that were running, and so we don't even know they exist until we see like a preview for it or somebody recommends it or something like that. So we've been finding these series, and we're able to get the whole, you got the DVDs, this incredible phenomena where you get the whole series, and you can sit down and you can watch them back to back. And some of them are ones where we've noted that if we had actually were watching them week to week, we probably would have never gotten into the series at all. We probably would have lost interest just because of the time frame, in between. So anyway, this is a great thing. And one of the things that we've discovered while doing this is the number of great shows that were canceled prematurely. Shows where they're either just starting to get good, you're just starting to get into the characters and understand them, and then they stop. Mid-season sometimes, and shows that there's some shows of course that didn't, we just watched it was amazing. It was an amazing feat, but we watched the entire Stargate SG-1, which is a series we never saw. We watched the entire series pretty much back to back, every watching a few episodes every evening for weeks and weeks until we had seen the entire 10 seasons of it. And that show, it tied up fairly nicely. They seemed to, they kind of, you could tell they anticipated the ending and they planned for it, even if it may not be satisfactory to everybody. Stargate Atlantis it was only 5 seasons, but they did pretty much the same thing. They kind of tied it up. But then you get the other side of this. You get these shows, okay, just to name a couple recent ones. Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Really enjoyed that series up through season 2. Season 2 ends on a cliffhanger. I just this morning looked it up. In fact, that's why I'm making this video. And saw that it's not renewed for a 3rd season. That's it. Sorry, guys. You're SOL on that. And I just kind of made me. I started thinking back on all the other great series that we've kind of been watching on DVD, and then until they're gone. I'm thinking way back, just a couple of them. Firefly, True Calling. Let's see what other ones that they did this with. Huff, Wonder Falls. Odyssey 5. That was a big one. That one hurt. Where they just leave it. And like Odyssey 5 kind of had the feeling where I almost think that the actors showed up for work one day and were just told to go home. I mean, it almost seemed that abrupt. I mean, they sort of left it like, not just a cliffhanger, but sort of left like almost like a 2-part episode that just sort of ends in the middle, and that's it. You're never going to find out what happened. And and it's just it almost makes me wonder if there's just not some cruel manipulators like at Fox or some of these other networks that are just pulling strings and just getting people excited by these shows and then pulling the rug out at the right when they get a really big following. And of course, I understand. I like the one thing I'd read about Odyssey 5, which if you haven't seen it, it's still worth, even the small amount of it there is, it's worth every second. The thing about Odyssey 5 is that I guess it was one of the most expensive television shows ever produced, or at least it was high up there. It was very expensive, and it shows in the quality. But also, besides being expensive, it also, I guess, it repeatedly went over budget. And at the time, its viewership was really, really small. And Showtime made a decision because they were competing with the Sci-Fi Channel for their homemade, or whatever, their television shows, and they decided to just get out of the sci-fi business altogether. So they did that. That's kind of the story behind that. So I kind of can see their point. I mean, obviously, as a viewer, it sucks, but it's kind of the way it works out. So I guess what this comes down to is it's just you wonder. I just wonder what with all of these shows. So some of them, and they're going to make their money in. It's almost like they make the show and they're saying this is we're not making money on this, or this isn't a winning proposition. Let's cancel it mid-season. And then a year later or 6 months later, when it's released on DVD, it more than makes up all of its money. And but at that point in time, the actors have gone on to other things. They can't really revive it. It's that, and I just wonder if there's ever any regrets over that, and if so, maybe they should think twice before they cancel these things early. Anyway, and then the other opposite end of that spectrum, though, are shows that that should have been canceled that aren't. One that came to mind, we watched Jeremiah. Great. An amazing series at the beginning. I mean, the first season of it was... we couldn't take our eyes off of it. I mean, it was just fascinating. Everything about it was great. And then second season, it started off okay. But I'd say almost halfway through the second season, maybe not even quite halfway through, we were watching it just to finish the show and hoping that everybody in the show would die, hoping all of the main characters would just be killed in some bloody, horrible accident, because by that point in time, we grew to hate them. I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't know what switched on the show, but it almost became like a really bad parody of itself, and it was just, anyway, that's my opinion. Shows like that. Pretender was another one. Great series. Loved it up through season 3, and then right towards the end, and then they made that horrible movie, the Pretender movie, which was painful. But by the time that series was over with, I was kind of glad it was over. It wasn't one that I wasn't left wanting more by the end of the Pretender. And there's been a few series like that, and but then there's ones where they just, I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I'm just rambling on. I'm just trying to make this video. I don't even remember all I said in the middle of packing. So I may or may not make one short video before I leave. I don't know what my time is going to be like. So anyway, if I don't, I'll see you in 2 weeks, and enjoy.